All right, folks, it is time for the final event of our Blue Moon tournament. I'm so excited for this. Two extremely powerful players on the Nintendo Switch Legacy Collection going at it. We got Tofu Toru. From his perspective, he is playing a Falzar build that is pretty much, I wouldn't say all in on Super Vulcan, but it's got a really powerful setup there with Super Vulcan, attack 30, your Beast down to give it another extra plus 30. He's even got Thunderball Star as a chip to help solidify that attack. If you use Thunderball Star in Beast Out mode, you'll basically jump scare right in front of the opponent to try and paralyze them and set them up for the full Super Vulcan attack. It's a really powerful and exciting build. Now, look, we've got two area grabs going back-to-back between the opponents. Enzon Tony, who is playing Gregar, rocking one of his two slow gauges. Playing two slow gauges means you're basically all but guaranteed to set up the exact amount of speed that you want for this entire event. I think this is a pretty good trade for both players. Neither of them are really getting... Oh, wow, going right in for the Magnum right there. Unfortunately, not quite fast enough for Tofu Toru to get that... back B charge attack to be able to get some free damage off of the paralysis, but still pretty decent. I will say, that Erase Man is really at its best when it's able to stop the flashing state or invincibility state from a chip like Invis, or maybe the traps that are set up from a chip like Anti-Damage. So not the most amazing setup there, just dealing 120 essentially, but still, we were able to connect, and we were also able to verify that Tony is not running beat, although to be fair, I think there was a time freeze counter war between the two right there. So it's very possible that, the opponent might still have it nonetheless. Okay, Geddon goes down in the front row. Now, that is really scary for Tony. I do not believe... Wow, and look at that, going right into that. I do not believe that Tony is running any air shoes at all in his Gregar. He's a very bulky build, going for a lot of good attacks right there. Tony being able to get two good Wind Rack charge attacks off. Not bad. Obviously, the Invis from Tony's perspective did a lot of good work right there. Magnum is, of course, not going to destroy that Life Aura, but it is going to be able to throw some holes out on the floor. As long as Tofu stays in Tengu, he's not going to worry too much about these holes. And wow, going right in the Meteor Knuckle right there. I guess he knows that Tony is really likely to want to go in a Slash Cross here to try and maybe use a Wind Rack to get rid of the Life Aura, and then punish him with the charge attack. That's, of course, going to deal double damage for quite a lot. Almost, I think that's like 320 or something. Boo, but look at that. Tony is so patient, and his Tenguman SP being able to blow off the Life Aura with the two hits right there. One hit is going to be... Wow, okay, wow, that's actually a really solid Meteor Knuckle. I think that was, 4 or 5 hits? Holy cow. And look at that, another great spot. Another great spot for Tofu to be able to spam the Wind Rack charges. What a powerful setup that you have right here with Falzar. Geddon is one of the best chips. I mean, look at this. I think that might just be over, folks. I mean, that is so much damage to deal with. I mean, it's never over until it's over. But that is a huge life lead. This is like 1,300 from both sides. Now, true, Tony could do something like, I don't know, he could find some way to perhaps, get a good Colonel Force going. Of course, it's Gregar, so you can never really count them out as far as damage goes. But wow, what a solid setup there. And gang, I don't know if you noticed, Tony's HP is draining so rapidly. That's because Wind Rack, or rather the Wind Rack that comes from the charge attack that Tofu's doing, it's doing a big push effect. The long story short, it's kind of hard to explain, is that there's a bug in the game. Not like, it's a Navi Customizer bug, so not like a bug. But, wow, and that machine gun is just going to go right through it. Oh my gosh, going right there. Wow, okay, and that's going to be it, folks. Basically, it is going to continue to... I'm sorry, it's a little bit tough to explain, but essentially, if the opponent gets, like, pushed backwards or flashed or flinched or whatever, their HP bug is going to multiply, right? So that's why, poor Tony's HP was draining like crazy. I don't know off the top of my head if Tony is running bug fix, but he does have an HP bug due to his Navi Customizer setup. So, if Tofu can continue to get some really aggressive leads like that, or he can just, safely spam his Wind Rack like he was able to do with the Geddon combinations, he's going to be in a really good spot. And of course, Tofu's got the lead right here, right? He's only one game, he's only one game up, but that's still a really good spot to be in. I like the full cust right here. The full cust right here is going to do a lot of good work in terms of, setting up the instant dust digging. Now, I don't know that Tofu is really... Again, he does have the Super Vulcan combos, which is nice. I don't know that he cares that much about assembling it, you know, super quickly. This is not a build like Bug Death Thunder, you know, or maybe even like Hub Batch as your Giga Chip, where you're really desperately, you know, trying to see it as soon as possible just to squeeze as much value as you can from your Giga Chip. We are seeing Meteor Knuckle as a very solid option from Tofu Toru. And again, Meteor Knuckle kind of falls into that strategy of get-ins, putting a lot of cracks and holes on the opponent's side. Gregar does not have his air shoes right now. So he is interesting, and we're not, you know, we're going straight for, you know, the barrier 200 right there. We're not allowing the barrier 10 from the first barrier to soak up the hit. You know, I'm thinking maybe Tofu is feeling like, wow, and look at this, yet another good setup right here. He's even got the second in the back. Holy cow! I'm really nervous in this position, right? I mean, again, look at this. The HP bugs are just mounting up. Okay, now fortunately, Tony was able to get in the back right there, but because Life Aura is up from Tofu's perspective, from Tofu's perspective, he's still able to spam his Buster. Now you're noticing that not all of his Buster hits are working. That's because Tofu Toru has intentionally bugged his attack setups in his Navi Customizer to get the Buster bug. The Buster bug is a really cool bug for those who are not familiar with it. Basically, it means that there's a chance that your Buster won't fire. It'll sort of like, you know, get clogged, I suppose you could say. But then there's also a chance that just spamming a regular P-Shot will do a fully powered charge attack. So combining it with that bug fix, as you see right there, is such a powerful setup, because even though you are fixing... How interesting that Tofu didn't go for... I'm sorry, Tony didn't go for his charge shot right there. That charge elect charge attack right there. Anyway, nonetheless, because of that, he is still going to be able to shoot the ability... I can't speak at all. He's still going to be able to fire fully charged P-shots with a little bit of luck, while also getting rid of the bug that's going to stop it from blanking, right? So bug fix is such a good setup, and wow, Tofu is just so aggressive right here. Absolutely aggressive. I cannot even believe the amount of damage. Now, this is not nearly as much a bad of a lead as it was, you know, in previous games. But look at that. Tofu's got a bunch of recovers if he needs it. He's got his Meteor Knuckles right here. I mean, if I'm Tony, I'm sweating. If I'm Tony, I'm sweating. I don't know that he runs bug fix. I feel like we would have seen bug fix. Ooh, we're getting a connection issue. I hope that's not going to be too noticeable. That is one downside of playing with the Legacy Collection. I will say, ever since Capcom did that wonderful patch, you know, from months and months and months ago, there have been a lot less connection issues. Although, ooh, we are seeing some lag right here. I hope that's not going to be anything too noticeable for the rest of this. Magnum doing a lot of good work right here. If Tony can hit with it, he is going to penetrate. Oh gosh, and I think that was lag. I think that was the lag. Yikes! 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 Okay, that's okay. Erase Man is still going to do good work right here. Right, the Erase Man is going to penetrate through that anti-damage trap. And I think, yeah, look at that. Tony just being real careful right there, making sure he can't get that connect. I don't know that his charge tackle is going to work right now because of the hole setup. I don't think that's going to actually, you know, travel through the holes to connect. So Tofu, I'm sorry, the best that Tony can do is spam his P-Shot. Now, I will say, the lag is not being really helpful. Okay, and I'm thinking this is Tofu right here. Now, gang, that is 2 wins for Tofu. However, Enzon Tony is in the absolute grand finals. Yep, it's a bracket reset right here. Tony went undefeated in Swiss right here, so because Tofu was able to get that 2-0 victory right there, that doesn't mean he's the grand champion. We do have a bracket reset, and actually because of that, why don't we go ahead and change the music? As much as I love 4.5, let's do some BN2. BN2 was always fun. Okay, and look at that. You can already see part of the combo being assembled. The Super Vulcan and the Attack 30. I don't think that Tofu is playing double point as well to really maximize it, but still, if you beast out for an extra 30 and you attack 30 for an extra 30, you're adding plus 60 to your Super Vulcan. 80 shots times 10 is 100 damage. That's like an insane amount. I'm sorry, 800 damage, which is such an obscene amount of damage. Now, speaking of anti-damage, this is probably a good time to mention that our good friend Tony... oh my gosh, what an insanely good Magnum that was. Penetrating the anti-damage defenses and doing double damage for a D-Cross right there. That is a huge swing in Tony's favor. I'm also going to take an opportunity right here to maybe resize things just a teensy tiny bit. It seems like maybe we're getting just a tiny bit cut off. How about that? Yeah, there we go. That seems a little bit nicer, right? Tiny bit nicer. Now we can fully read all the stuff that's happening down below. Very, very good stuff. Although, that is going to bother me that we got a tiny, tiny bit of, you know, the actual game showing up right there. Nonetheless, here we go. And it looks like the connection is a little bit better as well. So looking like we're going to have a good solid setup right here. Now, I will also note that Tofu Toru does have Bodyguard, right? You can see anti-damage. I'm sorry, anti-damage isn't just about every folder, but you can see, holy cow! What a great counter hit going right there from Tony. Elect Dragon, such a powerful chip. Putting those cracks on the opponent's side, getting that extra plus 50 from the Elect Cross. And wow, look at that, just getting like some cheeky little counter hits right there. Of course, Tony is not in normal mode, so he's not going to get that full sync double damage buff, but still, being able to stop the opponent from doing his attack and getting free paralysis is something that nobody can ever really complain about, right? So look at that, Tony going right into Beast right here, and that's something we didn't really get to see as much. Wow, just following up this pressure. Tony going absolutely full aggressive. Can he quickly charge up? Oh, wow, going straight into the Gundel Soul. That's pretty good stuff right there. That's pretty good stuff right there. I will say, Gundel Soul 3 is usually used in combination. Wow, good spacing from Tofu right there. Tofu knows that those are the only two spots, the up and down on the very front row, that's going to stop a Beast Breath from hitting him. Really, really good patience and spacing. And you know what? The scary thing is, Tony can adapt to that by, instead of going right in the front row to drop that electric breath, he can just go one space back and hit those exact panels, right? So then all of a sudden, the back row becomes the only safe spot for it. Very, very scary stuff. And still, even without Tony connecting with that, applying more cracks on the field is always powerful stuff, right? The Elect Breath is so powerful. Wow, look at that hit right there. The breath is so powerful for that very purpose, right? You're spamming all these cracks in the field. The slow gauge goes down. And the second slow gauge that Tony has can just get charged up for more Beast Breath. And all of a sudden, this game, wow, and that Super Vulcan whiff. Oh, that Super Vulcan whiff. How terrible. This is a huge, huge, huge swing for Tony. He's got the life lead. He's taking great advantage of his Beast Breath and his spacing and all the damage that's happening. And he avoided that cheeky little Super Vulcan right there. You can never really call it over, folks. You can never really call it over. But I will tell you, I would be feeling extremely good if I were in Tony's position right now. I'd be feeling like $1,000,000 because that is a lot of damage output from the opponent that's getting stopped. Now, we know that Tofu has his, Muramasa. Ooh, wow, double Life Aura. Unfortunately, not the best when our opponent's in Tengu. He can just back B and get rid of it. Yep. I think Tony probably brought that Life Aura right there. Assuming that maybe he could time freeze counter, he could maybe respond to a powerful chip like Meteor Knuckle or something with that Life Aura to totally, invalidate it. And honestly, maybe Tony just needs to, do better spacing, right? Maybe he just needs to. Ooh, wow. Okay, he's still got some hits off on Tony. Because yeah, poor Tony was actually in a good spot right there where he could have fully dodged that. Okay, and it's looking like Tofu's almost out of chips too. He is not going to have the damage output to actually get the kill here if that's the case. He might have a custom bug. It's possible that we haven't seen bug fix yet to fix that, but I'd be sweating real bullets right here from Tofu because, you really need to be able to use your beast attacks to fully charge up and deal a lot of damage to the opponent, when, your Super Vulcans and powerful chips are just not really working. Wow, an anti-damage comes out to steal that Tengu. To steal that Tomahawk, but, Tony knows that was the case. He had a good feeling in his heart. Otherwise, he would have tried to swing it himself. The Judge Man does nothing here. It's not going to be doing any damage. I'm surprised Tony isn't packing a Wind Rack or something. Maybe Tony is just out here. Oh, wow. Okay, well, the good news is... Actually, nope, the Tengu completely whipped. Never mind. Yikes. Okay, now all of a sudden, it's looking pretty good for Tofu here because that was a lot of chips that Tony wasted. 3 different chips to be precise. And the poor guy was just not really able to do anything about the Life Aura. That is so unfortunate. That Tengu SP would have done a decent chunk of damage. 190 and got rid of that Life Aura. But, what can I say? Tofu Toru knows his opponent well. He's done a lot of good practice. And he knows the placements, right? As much as I love those T-Twins, Tengu SP and Tomahawk SP, as much as I love them, they're not nearly as accurate as the B-Bros, right? Proto Man stepping in with near-perfect accuracy. Blast Man doing his fire attacks with near-perfect accuracy. Both of those are a little more popular, I think, for their accuracy. Of course, Blast Man SP is also able to get double damage on grass panels that are often on the field from Element Man. And also they're able to punish Falzar a little bit more, right? You can deal a double damage on Tengu and a double damage on Tomahawk as well. Where the Teach ones are pretty good at stopping Gregar, right? You know, your Tengu hitting a Race Cross for extra damage, and also your Tomahawk being able to stop that wood. And wow, look at this. What a good spot for Tony right there. That Buster Bug doing so much work. And because of those holy panels on his side, he's down to take that trade any day of the week. Any day of the week. Yeah, it's looking like these really are just the 2 last chips. Actually, we haven't really seen a lot of area grab wars go down, huh? Haven't seen a lot of area grab wars go down. But it's very unfortunate because it doesn't look like Tofu has any way to deal with these holy panels now. Tony was really patient with the Sanctuary in the end game. So even if this Muramasa hits, and there's also no way to really like combo it up and make sure that's going to hit, you're only doing 250, right? Which is just a fourth of Tony's health. I'd be feeling really, really good right now if I were Tony. Tony and Tofu, man, I keep getting these mixed up. Wow, and unfortunate, we actually do have a position where, yikes, okay, and again, I think lag is just not doing the most work for us. Unless, actually, you know what? I gotta take that back. It's possible that in Tony's position right there, he really just wanted to crack those panels to guarantee, right? Wow, and actually the Muramasa does hit, yikes. But still, you know, Tony's in the safest of safest positions. I'm thinking that he just went for that just to ensure that he's actually going to get that hit right there. All he's going to do is get one little buster off. And look at actually Tofu doing a really good job of dodging, but yeah, not quite enough. Now it's a lead for Tony. And this is the last set, you guys. This is the last set, right? This is grand finals. There has been a bracket reset. There are no extra continues after this. Tofu's got to claw his way back from that one, right? It's not undoable, right? He's got to get 2 wins in a row. As we've seen, it's very, very possible for him. He got a 2-0 on those first earlier sets. Wow, we are just like going all out aggressive here. That is a lot of mega chips, folks. A lot of mega chips followed up by the full cust at the end. Wonder why that's the case. I wonder why we wouldn't sequence it just a little bit differently, because I feel like with all those mega chips, you need some time for the flashing animations, the invincibility frames to reset. Okay, Judge Man, not going to work there. Wow, a turn 1 bug fix for Tony. That's some good stuff right there. You know, he's no longer getting... okay, a Judge Man. Wow, interesting stuff. The Judge Man was not even close to doing that. But hey, we get some books. That's not the worst thing ever. Tony a little bit too close, too quick on the draw for that. You know, that actually ended up doing some work. Oh, Aquaman, unfortunately, not going to get the back row buff of the hose. That is one downside with Aquaman, as powerful as a chip as that is. But hey, you know, you did, you got like 1 hit of it off. Oh my gosh, that Bubble Star. I think that Bubble Star also went installed. Is this like the best turn 1 ever? People are out here packing heat. People are packing such, you know, wow, look at that get in. This is really, really bad. I would be so afraid right now. The good news is Tony, with that early bug fix, was able to stop, you know, the sort of piling up of bugs, right? Or he was able to preemptively stop it, rather. Oh my gosh. Look at these plays. People, we're just out here like, we're out here busting all of our powerful chips right here. Muramasa, I mean, I guess you are going to hit. I mean, if there's ever a time you're going to hit with your Muramasa, right? That's going to be right now. I just can't tell that, like, that's... Huh. Yeah, I don't know, folks. That's some pretty interesting stuff. I'm not going to lie to you. Wow, what a great invis from Tony. And slow gauge is not up right now, so that invis is doing a lot more work than it normally would. Oh my gosh, if you can actually get off of this. Didn't go for the wind wreck either, huh? Wow, but we are getting a D-cross. We are getting a D-cross. That is, wow, that's actually really powerful stuff right there. Again, not the best position for Tony, but still being able to get the D-cross right there is going to mean that Tofu's easy way of dealing with a life or a powerful barrier is instantly out. No more wind rack shenanigans. That's scary stuff. Now, Tofu is packing machine gun on install. That is a pretty classic combo. And from Tony's perspective, it's going to be pretty hard to dodge here. He can't just snake his way up and down because of the area grab positioning. He's going to have to move backward right away. But also that machine gun is going to fire right on that spot, which is going to be extremely hard to actually dodge. So, you know, if Tofu wants to get that uninstall, it's seeming likely. Wow, what great spacing. What great spacing to go up top right there and instantly dodge the whip action. Tony was able to get his panels back from the books from Judge Man, but still, he does get an uninstall, which is not very good. You don't really want to be getting uninstalled, folks. And look at that, folks. Actually, normally your P-shot shouldn't be able to. First of all, wow, Muramasa missed. That's massive. And second off, normally your P-shots are not dealing enough damage to trigger anti-damage there, right? Anti-damage needs 10 or more, but because of that Buster Bug we were talking about earlier, Tofu was able to get a lucky fully charged attack just by mashing his P button, or rather just by mashing his P-shot, and was able to totally invalidate a decent chunk of Tony's defenses, which, by the way, are not very many. Tony is running less. I believe he's running only 1 anti-damage as opposed to the 3 that you tend to see in a lot of builds, which is pretty scary. Okay, Geddon is coming down. That Ella Man is probably just going to do that meteor. Ooh, okay. Oh, wow. Wait, that's actually so smart. I love that from Tony's spot right there. Tony was able to actually stop a good chunk of that Geddon right there. I actually didn't realize that. Oh, wow, but he stepped right in. He did step forward. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Wow, and look at that. Max damage Tengu, and it's also getting the invincibility taken off, right? There's no more, what's the word? Iframes right there. There's no more, you know, invincibility because the Gundel Soul is completely stuck. Wow, I don't have the hiccups. that combo was so good, it gave me the hiccups. It was so powerful because the Gundel Soul raise pierce through the flashing invincibility, and it also removes it too, right? So that was like, yikes, that was way too much damage from Tony. Again, I really appreciate, oh, yikes, and that's going to be it. That's going to be it. Now it's 1-1 at the very end. Holy cow. Wow, and actually you don't get to see that very often, an extra chip going down after after deletion. A lot of stuff I'm seeing that are not very often. They don't happen very often. Wow, this is actually the final match. Let's do a change of music. How about... Let me do some great battlers. Folks, these are some great battlers. Am I wrong? Am I not wrong, folks? Are these not some great battlers? Holy cow. Holy freaking cow. What a combo that was. What a combo that was. Now, this is going to be a really, really scary set, right? To finally, you know, sort of put through everyone at the best, right? We've seen a lot of win conditions come from both players. Both starting at 1900. Area grabs, right? They're both starting in the same position. Look at that. We actually have the full hit of the Aquaman, but wow, what a great invis from Tony to respond from that. He just dodged almost like, I can't even tell you how much damage. Almost life or amounts of damage right there from Aquaman SP. Casually going down. Very, very scary stuff. Now, we haven't seen a lot of Super Vulcan combos actually succeed from Tofu Toru, so I kind of wonder if we can find ourselves in a position where we can actually fully get that off. If we can, that's going to be basically as strong as it gets, right? You know, again, a solid, 80 shots times 10 is 800. If you put those white caps and that thunder, you can paralyze them in it and really make sure they're going to hit. We've also got uninstall, right? Normally your super armor is going to make you be able to just move through it, but, you know, if you can uninstall them, they are going to get hit backward for each of those hits. Wow, 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 wow. That Geddon did nothing. Great spacing from Tony. Gundel Soul's not doing anything either. He can't even back B to bring him forward because there's no air shoes. And Tofu's thinking to himself, he's like, am I gonna sit there and just take, you know, 1,000,000 shots from that beast bazooka, that beast machine gun? You know, Tofu doesn't have his bug fix. So if he's just out there spamming the B button, it's very likely he's not going to fully connect. I'm surprised he doesn't just run his life aura and go right in. Wow! Oh my gosh! What a jump scare! And to think that Tofu had it! To think that Tofu had the life aura in hand. Now, granted, we did see that Tony had the wind rack to blow it off as well. Oh my gosh, what a jump scare! For Tony to be packing the full Colonel Force combos at turn 3? Over on a Geddon turn? Now, granted, the Geddon holes were healing, but holy cow. That was the first time in this entire set that a Colonel Force went down, and what damage it dealt. Folks, showing us why Colonel Force is essentially the strongest chip in the entire game. Holy cow. Life Aura stopping the Grab Revenge panels from going down. Area Grab following up right after it like that. Muramasa is going to... Wow. And the Muramasa whiffing right there. With the beast action right there. Tony doing such work, folks. Such work. And poor Tofu is just like sweating bullets. He's like, man, I really need my attack 30 here, but I'm looking at this hand of 5 chips and I'm like, what am I grabbing? What am I grabbing? Honestly, right? You want the white cap and you want the Thunderball to actually deal the full Vulcan attacks, but we gotta heal. We've gotta heal. If we're not healing, we're dead, right? And look at this too. Because of the area grab lead, it's not even as though, wow, I kind of wish that that Tofu did that in a different order. Although I guess if he did do that in a different order, the white cap would have gone behind the Thunderball, right, which would have done nothing. That would have completely blanked it. So I guess you couldn't actually rearrange it or sequence it any differently. But still, how unfortunate. The Thunderball jump scare does go down, but there's nothing to really follow it up with, right? Tony had the area lead in that position. And look at that. That's both. Wow, that is both recover 300s. That is all of Tofu's life. Into the full Muramasa decross into a victory. Ladies and gentlemen, what a set that was. Holy freaking cow, folks. Well done, Tofu Tony. Well done, Tofu. Well done, Tony. Great sets from both of you. Thank you, Tofu, for recording these sets for us to use. And wow, what an amazing set, you guys. Big salutes. I'll catch you guys later with the next one.